Okay, guys, so the Les Paul, this guy, this is very special. This guitar, I remember, and it is a Gibson. I've got a new lacquer decal to go up here because this headstock was wrecked. Like, it had a headstock break that was bad. This is all stuff from the Gibson factory. You can't really, it's not real clear anymore, but it's 1992 is when this guy was made. So a real ebony, it's the real deal. It's Gibson USA stuff. So I remember the day that my papa bought this thing and brought it home. My papa had some kind of like network of people maybe that he was dealing with that unclaimed there for a while, because bless his soul, when he passed away, I knew he was buying a lot of instruments through the years, but my God. If my aunt and my dad were on this video, my cousin Justin, my brother Ben, they would all tell you, man, it was ridiculous, really. Papa bought so many guitars. And I know it took me a long time to figure out why. There was a couple of reasons. He wanted all of us to have heirloom pieces to remember him by and to share music with the family, it runs deep in my family. Music's in my blood. But more importantly, Papa was his hobby on the side. A lot of people didn't realize this, but I was picking up on it when most of the family wasn't really. He enjoyed working on these instruments and fixing them up more than he did playing them. He'd like to take an old beat up guitar and fix it and take it to his buddies and have a little picking session with them. And they'd be blown away, like, wow, man, that's awesome, So that's what it was. It took me a long time to get my head wrapped around that, and it's just very precious. But this headstock was ruined, man. It was bad. I had to all but rebuild it, basically. Like, there was a point where, when I was trying to fix this thing, where I was looking at my wife and telling her, these Gibsons, they have a scarf-style headstock design where the actual chunk at the headstock is scarfed in behind the second and third fret. And I told her, I said, I'm going to go to Woodcraft, I'm going to get a block of mahogany, same species, and I'm just going to build a new one. Because at this point, it's just not even worth trying to save that old one. But I soldiered through it, and we got through the repair. And I'm not even going to lie to you guys, man. It took every bit of 6 months of me. I'd work on it for a week or two and then step back and do some research on it. And it might seem, most of the luthiers that might see this video, you guys are going to be like, why? Why didn't you just call somebody? Well, that's the thing you got to realize. Where I live at the time, Sonny Thomas was it. And Sonny was the man, and I learned a lot from him. And I didn't want to keep bothering that guy. He taught me most of what I know. And he did help with this. He kind of pointed me in the right direction. What we ended up doing, and I might do another video where I show my procedure for making what I use for splining a headstock on this one. Normally I wouldn't do that. Splining a headstock brake, putting a spline in across the brake to reinforce give some complexity to the glue joint. It's pretty normal. For a lot of people do it. I know it's kind of a last ditch thing. You don't really want to have to do that, but this guy, regular splines didn't work, is the long and short of it. You couldn't just put a piece of wood across a break in the headstock and make it work. I tried all kinds of different glues too. I'd use glue that I swore I'd never use on the guitar, and it didn't help. So what I ended up doing was making Dutchman inlays, or what you guys may refer to them as a bow tie style inlay. It looks like an hourglass, and 2 of those. Or actually it was 3 small ones. I take that back. I put 3 back there out of mahogany and used real high glue and clamped it up, let it set, and it worked like a charm. So this thing is solid as a rock now. I would venture to say that headstock, the wood at the neck would give before that glue joint would give now. Just learning what I've learned about hide glue and those Dutchman inlays, they're very strong. So anyhow, I got off on a little tangent there, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a brief historical background on this guitar. So that's what he bought this. I don't care to tell you guys, when he bought this thing, he gave like $65 for this Les Paul, and this was the first instrument I ever laid hands on doing work. This guitar means more. You literally couldn't walk in this shop and have, you know, Mark Tremonti, a truckload of his guitars, and that guy's my hero, but like a trailer full of his guitars hand signed by him with gold and silver inlays, and I promise you I would not trade this guitar for that. This guitar means so much to me and my family. This will stay in my family no matter what. And it's a personal mission now to get this thing as good as it can be. And that's where we're heading with this. So that's why I didn't care to put the coin down and have Jay paint this thing for me proper with a good hard 2K urethane finish. I wanted something that was going to last and wasn't going to shrink. It's, you know, post-catalyzed finish that's just going to be there. And man, he blew my mind. He hit such a home run with this. So Jay, I'm going to tag you in this video. And thanks again, man, because this is so, I'm so happy about this. I couldn't thank you enough. But what we're doing with this guy now, I told Jay to leave the edge of the fretboard raw, because I prefer the look of the wood grain on the edge of a fretboard. And I got a little bit of blending to do, some wet sanding, and that's on me. I did this on purpose. I wanted to hand blend that in, and put just an oil finish on the edge of this fretboard and blend it in with, you know, wet sanding. And that's what I'm going to show you guys, is how I blend after I've done. The reason that this is so important for you guys to know is that another normal thing, that's what this series is about. It's just the normal run-of-the-mill stuff that you're going to run into that I don't really see a ton of people talking about. Not really. Touch-ups and spot blending is something that every good guitar technician needs to know how to do. And admittedly, the ones who are better at it usually have spent some time around an auto body technician or a paint, auto paint guy. And I did for a while. My father-in-law, he's another one that's really good at refinishing and restoring old furniture and things. I worked with him for years in Chattanooga remodeling. We started picking up pieces here and there to restore for customers, and he taught me how to work with stains. And Lord, I could go on and on about that, but I picked up a lot from him on that, and I picked up more from Sonny. And all that knowledge kind of comes together right here at the bench when it comes to this stuff. So I'm going to show you guys what you need to do to quickly achieve the results you want, and I'm going to reiterate what you shouldn't do, because it's really easy to get overzealous when you're trying to blend and sand stuff in. It's really easy to overdo it. So in the next video segment, I'm going to show you guys what I use for wet sanding, and we're going to do a little bit on the edge of this fretboard. I'm going to show you how it looks after it's buffed with some buffing compound and you wax it after that, and I think you'll be surprised. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.